Hello world, welcome back to whatever this is. Oxford University is considered the world's gold standard in education, but is it? Because if Kenyans on laptops are outwriting Oxford University students, maybe their standards have already fallen. Earlier this year, Charlie Kirk went to Oxford to debate about male happiness.
And I guess I would just ask this question in closing. Do you think men would be happier if they are married and providing for a family?
I don't think marriage or the institution of marriage is the only way a man can be happy.
That's not what I said. I said generally happier. Do you think men will be generally happier if they're married, providing, and have children?
His opponent was Oxford Union's president-elect, and his argument was basically repeating over and over again that toxic masculinity is the problem. No solution, no thesis, just vibes.
Then what is your solution to bring about male happiness in the West? Mine is men get married, have children, and provide. What is yours?
That's a big question.
So Charlie Kirk had a defendable argument. His claim was the solution to male happiness can be found in meaning of life, starting a family, taking up responsibility, and aiming high. The Oxford side, nothing concrete.
So I would just ask you to think over the next couple of days, months, or years, why is it that men in countries that barely have toilets and do not have 2 pounds to rub together, but they do have kids and they do have a wife, are much happier than someone with a big flat in downtown London? Something to think about.
I mean, I think happiness is a difficult idea to conflate in that sense. I mean,
No,
there are other
suicide.
duties.
They're less likely to kill themselves. Forget all these happiness indexes. If you kill yourself, you're not happy, right? So these poor countries do not have male suicide problems. Why?
I do not know.
Think about it. Thank you very much.
That's not an elite debate. That's Twitter threads with rustic furniture and better lighting. Now here's the kicker. An Oxford professor of Kenyan descent flies to Kenya to study the booming billion-dollar essay industry.
Because Patricia, you've been researching this issue for some time. I mean, you are a professor at Oxford. Why did this issue come to your attention?
It came to my attention really first in the form of numbers. So I found out about the numbers of people who were doing this in Nairobi, but it was clear that there really wasn't much research on who are these people. It just seemed to me really extraordinary that we could count roughly how many there were, and we knew the percentage of people in Kenya who were doing this work. But actually, what's it like to write a PhD for someone? You know, what is it like to write multiple PhDs for some people living out in the world? For me, that was the thing I felt really needed to come to the fore, to really hear those voices.
Thousands of Kenyans ghostwriting essays for US and UK students, sometimes at master's levels, in hours. Instead of asking why these Oxford essays are so easy to outsource, the professor says these Kenyans are gifted, like we are some untapped resource or something. Like, let's be real. This isn't some magical Kenyan genius factory. It's regular people hustling to make money. The story here isn't Kenyan brilliance, it's Oxford weakness. If thousands of freelancers can crank out your coursework in a few hours, maybe your coursework just isn't that rigorous anymore. Look, I've done assignments for people during my university days offline. And trust me, it wasn't sorcery. It was just things they didn't want to do. Same thing here. Kenyans just scaled it online. Nothing new, nothing special. So who deserves the scrutiny? Not Kenya, not the hustlers. It should be Oxford, the so-called elite institution giving debates without solutions and essays that are easy enough for a random Kenya to crank out in a few hours.
Knowing this, it still doesn't mean that they have the power, really.
Absolutely not. And I think one of the things is that Patricia really adeptly explores in the film is the way in which power makes things feel invisible, that this is the way that they're supposed to be. And actually, we know that the writers have this talent. And so it will take people in power, people with jobs, like policy, legislation, recognising that maybe you can have research centres that are based in Kenya where they can directly be doing the work without having to have this conduit, but also that they can access universities in the global north without having to do it on behalf of someone else because they're already in these spaces, they're already doing the work, and the talent is undeniably there.
These guys are peddling prestige without substance. And Kenyans, we're just cashing in on the loophole. So you tell me, who really needs reform? Is it Oxford or Kenya? So drop your thoughts in the comments, and hey, don't outsource that like button. Smash it yourself. Like and subscribe so that we can continue building this acquaintance. Until next time, peace.